The knee is crucial, and the glue that holds the knee together are the ligaments, and the most important ligament being the ACL, also known as the anterior cruciate ligament. This is the most important ligament because it sits right in the middle of your knee, and it sits in a diagonal setting because it has to do with your range of motion and your walking and your running. So it's basically the core of your knee. I want to inform you about the ACL tears because here at NDSU we have a Division I program of athletics, which means it's really, really high, intense workouts, practices, and games, so you're more susceptible to tearing your ACL. It's also important to me because I have gone through the injury, so I want to make sure athletes are informed on how to prevent it as well as how to get through it emotionally. With that being said, NDSU needs to be aware of both the psychological and physical consequences that come along with the ACL tear. To begin with, psychological components. The ACL is not only an injury of the body, but it is the injury of the mind. Howard J. Lukes, the doctor of orthopedic surgery and sports medicine, says there are some very prominent factors that go along with it. So increased depression and sadness are a big one. GPA score may go down because you might be having a hard time in school just focusing, as well as detachment from friends and family. And it's really important during this time to be really supportive to athletes because it's really hard to go through this on your own emotionally, so it's a very important psychological factor. Another one would be diet, surprisingly. The NCAA, or the National Collegiate Athletic Association, says that athletes who go from really high intense workout to really low intense workout think they shouldn't be eating enough or should eat as much because they might get fat. But this is a problem because if you're not eating as much, you're not getting the right nutrients, which can be a problem with your rehab process, your performance process, as well as your overall health. So it's important to make sure you keep eating. Besides psychological components are also physical components. So the WebMD says that the most important thing you should do after you hurt your ACL is your rehab. And your rehab can be really brutal because it requires a lot of exercises involving flexibility, so your range of motion, so bending it and then straightening it, as well as strength and endurance. So strength is like, gaining your muscle back physically, but also endurance, being able to last a super long practice or a super long game, just making sure you get back that endurance in your leg. Another one from the British Journal of Sports Medicine website says that athletes need to have a lot of patience because if you come back too early from ACL injury, you could end up re-tearing it. They say you need to stay out for about 6 to 12 months, which is really, really long. I know, it sucks, but it's important because if you do re-tear, that means another surgery, more rehab, and it's just generally really hard on the body. Because of both these psychological and physical consequences, it's important for NDSU to understand how to help it and how to prevent it. The knee is crucial. It's really important that we keep it healthy, and it's really important that we keep our ligaments intact so we don't have to go through the psychological factors like depression, sadness, GPA problems, as well as physical rehab and sitting out for a long period of time because nobody likes to do that. Here at NDSU and athletes all around, we know we can't prevent all ACL tears, but if it happens, just remember a setback is a setup for a comeback.